Hello everyone, your voice here and welcome to our channel Sansevieria 101. So for this episode we're going to feature an inflorescence or flower bloom coming from the Sansevieria hybrid known as Dancing Dragon, and I have provided you with the early pictures of the flower bud growing or emerging from the core of the plant itself. And in form they look like crab pincers, and as the days goes by those are actually bud skins that are compact in form. Then it will start to grow in length, and like what I'm showing you right now in this picture, one of the bud skin is left on the lower portion of the flower stalk as it grows, and on the topmost portion it's like a corn cob growing, which is still compact at this stage. By the way, I started taking pictures of it last Feb 22nd 2025, and then I took pictures on a daily basis, such as what I'm showing you right now, which is already growing in height, and you can now see the flower tubes emerging from the flower stalk. So the flower tubes will still grow in length. Right now they're about a millimeter in length, or very short. It's like the topmost portions that are just visible, but later on you will see that they will start growing in length like what I'm showing you right now in these pictures, and they start to grow apart from each other. Perhaps that is the best time to measure the flowers per cluster, since they're not compressed, or they have not grown very closely to each other. When they grow longer, they will form a compact growth wherein they're very close to each other, very hard to count from there. So while doing this content, I'm also learning, so perhaps I should have counted them before they have grown into significant length. I'm talking about the flower tubes, because once they do, like I mentioned, they would grow closely together. That's why it's very hard to really figure out what's the correct flowers per cluster. You have to really focus on the plant, and the plant or the flower or the cluster should be in front of you, and you have to focus on it, focus a video, or you might need magnifying glass at times to count the flowers per cluster. But right now the inflorescence is really tall, and I think it grew the intended height for it to start or to stop growing in the total height of the inflorescence, and then the flower tubes would start to grow longer. Since the stalk it has reached the maximum height, it's now the flower tubes that will start to grow in preparation for them to open up or bloom. So like the one I'm showing you right now, it started blooming, and just a few flower tubes opened up during the first day, and I started taking pictures of them last March 18th 2025, and that was about 3 days ago. And I was just able to make this video because it was raining these past few days. It's raining non-stop, so this was the only time that I can take a video or cover for the inflorescence for Sansevieria Dancing Dragon, since it is already transferred in a very large pot, and it's very hard to move it out from there and do it on the usual spot wherein I discussed the inflorescence of a Sansevieria hybrid or species. So I think this is the third day, and most flower tubes have opened up. I think it will take a few more days till all the flowers are spent. So next clip would be a video of where we will be taking picture or taking measurements or records with regards to the inflorescence itself. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Alright folks, so we're back, and this is the second part of the content where we will be discussing, or we will take measurements or records of with regards to the inflorescence or flower bloom of the Sansevieria hybrid known as Dancing Dragon. So we will take some data of the inflorescence or the flower bloom of the hybrid, and I have to do this video today because I might not be able to get an accurate data if I waited for a few more days to do this clip or to do this video. So I have already counted the flowers per cluster, and I'm gonna focus it so you would see. It would look like that the flower tubes on the clump are more than 10, but actually they are two clusters that are very close to each other or together. So the exact flowers per cluster that I have recorded for Sansevieria Dancing Dragon is 7. That's maximum flowers in a cluster. Then the minimum would be the topmost portion, which would be just around 1 flower tube attached to the cluster of the inflorescence. So I would say that maximum is 7 and minimum is 1. So this is how it looks like. There are still clusters that are growing on the bottommost portion of the flower stock for Dancing Dragon. And aside from that, what we can observe easily when looking at it is the flower tube coloration. So the flower tube coloration is pinkish on the bottommost portion or the lower half of the flower tubes, and on the topmost portion is lighter green in coloration. The petals would still like most Sansevierias that I have already recorded, most of the flower petals or the petals of the flowers are white in color. And you have pistils and stamens as well. Nothing out of the ordinary. Aside from that, though, I'll have to make the video quick because as you can see, it has been raining for several days here from where we are located. We are in the Philippines, and in the Philippines we're not in Manila, but in probably a location where you're not very familiar with, or some people that are watching from outside the Philippines would not be so familiar with. But with regards to the weather, we have been having rains non-stop for this month of March. Usually it's already summer. Last year it was summer and was very hot. We had drought, but right now it's a different season that we're experiencing. Unlike the past year that it's really drought, right now it rains almost every day. So I hope it stays that way because it's very important for us to get rain from or in the garden. Usually I wouldn't need to water much if it's raining, but going back to the topic, we'll measure the inflorescence of flower stock. So I'll have the 24-inch ruler as usual, and you would see that I'm holding it as such at that point there, starting at that point where the inflorescence grew. So I would have it at the length of the flower stalk itself is below 24 inches or 2 feet. I'm reading 18 inches for the inflorescence for Sansevieria Dancing Dragon, which is a hybrid from Suwan Unyamani Garden. I'm not sure who exactly bred it, but on that garden are the Pramote brothers. So I would say that perhaps one of the people that are part of the family has been breeding them. So it might be one of the wives or the Pramote brothers doing it, doing the breeding. So I'm not sure, but the hybrid is coming from Suwon Unyamani Garden. So next, we'll have this tool here to measure the flower tubes. I might need to clip the phone. Alright, and do as such because I wasn't able to speak because I was holding the caliper by my mouth. This is very hard right now, and I'm trying to do it before it starts raining again, and I don't have ample time to take the data from the inflorescence of Dancing Dragon. So the flower tubes are on top. I'm trying to measure them as accurately as I can, and the measure would be at 15.8 on the topmost portions. Those are not going to bloom yet, so they might grow longer when it's time for them to bloom, but as of right now, the ones that are blooming are having the inflorescence or flower tube length of 27.8, so that's almost double of the flower tube that I measured on the topmost portion. I've measured the ones that are about to bloom, and they have grown to twice the length of the one that I have measured above, which is close to being 30 millimeters. I think that was 27 point something when I tried to get the measure of the flower tubes that are about to bloom. So folks, I guess we have collected the important data with regards to the inflorescence or the flower bloom of Sansevieria hybrid Dancing Dragon. I've already featured Dancing Dragon when it was when we decided to have it replanted on this spot. So after we have replanted it, it immediately bloomed for us. So I think it likes where we have relocated it. I'm not a firm or I'm not a believer of plants that are blooming are under stress, so I don't know if people are still believing that myth as of the current, because I have been dealing with Sansevierias for so very long, and I have been taking records of inflorescence, and under my observation, I have recorded Sansevierias that are very healthy, doesn't undergo stress, and they still bloom. In fact, I have observed colonies of Sansevieria species that bloom together and they're not subjected to any kind of stress. I would rather say that they would bloom when they have the environment perhaps, or the factors would be right for them to bloom, because when they bloom, especially when they're colony, it's I would say it's not right to say that all of them are stressed out. The whole colony of Sansevierias are stressed out, especially in Africa in the wild. I don't think you can say that the Sansevierias that are blooming in Africa, especially in the wild, are all stressed out, because that's their natural environment and they bloom as a colony. So I would rather say that not really seasonal, but there's a time for them where they bloom, and I would say that I can't really say what makes them bloom as of the current, but when they bloom, if one of them blooms in a colony, for sure the other ones are also blooming. So it's kind of seasonal. If they want to, or they undergo the right parameters for them to bloom, they will bloom. So I'm not a believer of people saying that Sansevierias bloom because they're stressed out. That's purely myth. So aside from that, I have nothing else to add. So if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment below. And if you like what I have presented, folks, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and you all have a great day.